I am super pumped. We just finished another war, 59-49, continuing our victory streak. Things are going fantastic. And even more exciting is how we're getting these victories, because we're not just doing spam dragon attacks, we're doing some really exceptional things. So rather than just do a war recap today, I really want to focus in on something that we're doing that I don't think hardly any other clan anywhere is doing. What I mean by that is we're getting these wins by hog attacks, and not just hog attacks at the Town Hall 8 level where you would expect to see them, but we're starting hog attacks all the way down at the bottom of the map. We got guys doing just crazy hog attacks. Check out Nerfed here doing a hog attack with Town Hall 7 level troops on this base. Now, first thing we want to talk about with hog attacks is just when you're looking at the base, break down the base and figure out where that most deadly weapon for hogs could be. And that most deadly weapon for hogs is, of course, those giant bombs. So there are 3 locations on this base that could have giant bombs: between the cannon and the archer tower, between this archer tower and the wizard tower, and between this air defense and this archer tower. Those are 3 different locations inside the base that could have giant bombs in them. We see that the clan castle is centered on the base. It's not an impossible lure. It's a little bit of a difficult lure. You can't do it with just a barge troop. So he's going to use a giant. The giant's going to walk into the clan castle ring, and as soon as it breaks that ring, it's going to get those troops out. Now, why use a giant instead of maybe just using a hog? Well, a giant has a lot more hit points, and even with this archer tower and cannon here firing on the giant, he's going to work his way in. This opening where this gold storage is could potentially have spring traps or baby bombs or something in there. So not only is he going to get the lure, but he's also going to get some extra added value out of this giant and gain some more information, potentially pre-trigger a couple of traps. So always look for opportunities to do that. How can I get the lure and get extra value out of the troops that I spend on the lure? So Nerf is doing some really advanced, excellent technique here. He's going to go ahead and lure this out. So he gets a baby bomb, he gets the whole lure, gets a second baby bomb, and now he's going to lure these troops down to the bottom of the base. So he's got to deal with a baby dragon, a Valkyrie, and a minion. So he's going to just lure them in, circle them up with wizards and archers, and he's going to go ahead on in. Now, he uses what's called a one-finger drop deployment style, where he's basically going to send all the hogs in from this single point. And where he sends them in, it's close enough to his surviving clan castle troops that the hogs are going to tank these defenses and keep those wizards and archers alive for quite a while. They're going to start taking a little bit of fire from this cannon until the hogs work their way over there. But then he sprinkles in his remaining hogs and his clan castle hogs on the backside. He's already done the analysis on this base and knows that he can pretty much cover the entire base in heals. So watch these 3 heals pretty much cover every single defense on the entire base. And now it's all over but the crying. And as the hogs took out the defenses, note that he sprinkled in his cleanup troops, his extra archers and wizards behind the hogs, so they're already starting to work on cleanup as the raid is going on. As the hogs ended up at the top of the base finishing off and then over to the right, he's got all kinds of cleanup troops over here on the left coming around. Everybody comes together, and they come together near the king pad, so if that king was still there, no problem. Now remember, there was 3 locations inside the base, and there's 2 giant bombs and 2 Teslas. So we knew that something was outside of the base. And this defender had corner buildings, so that's something that you got to kind of keep into consideration. You can use those corner buildings against that defender in a variety of different ways. So we're going to keep talking about exactly those kinds of ideas. We're going to take a look at Gaudy here, breaking down number 13. Now, again, we're going to take a look at this base. There's several locations that could be giant bombs. On either side of this sweeper here, these two compartments, and between this gold storage and the mortar is also locations for giant bombs. But what makes a good giant bomb location when you're planning a base, when you're building that base? What makes a good giant bomb location is you want that giant bomb to be in between two defensive structures. So it would be much better off if it was between an archer tower and a mortar, if there was a space in between those two to where the hogs would have to path from one defense to the next across that giant bomb. In all of these locations, the hogs are not likely to path across because they're going to come up here and they're going to follow a trace something like this, and in no case are they going to cross these open spaces on either side of the sweeper, and in no case, for no reason really, would they cross from this gold storage to the mortar. So all of these possible giant bomb locations are not very good giant bomb locations, but when we're planning our heals, we just have to plan that they could be in any of those if this is a first hit attack. If it's a re-attack, then it's easy enough. We also see about this base that it's a very bad design because it has this clan castle way offset. It's a very simple lure, and he also has buildings in the corner that we can use as what we call anchor buildings. So I can just put one archer or one barb on that corner hut, and that will help me to lure the clan castle troops over to the corner where it's very simple to kill them. So he uses one archer to lure the clan castle troops out, and then he's going to drop a couple archers up here to lure them up to the corner. He's going to go ahead and circle them up. Gaudy likes to use archers, and minions are a great way to kill Valkyries because minions can't be fired back. So he's going to go ahead, and he starts off with what's called an Asian wall deployment, but keep in mind that those hogs are going to track to the nearest defense. So with his cannon sticking out here, his Asian wall kind of turns into a one-finger drop. Now, a one-finger drop is not the most preferable deployment style because it bunches all your hogs up, and if something happens, if they do run into a giant bomb, if they do run into some calamity, then they're all going to be together when it does that. You want some spread between your hogs because you want them attacking as many defenses as possible simultaneously. That simultaneous action very quickly overwhelms the base. You have heal spells, but they have a short duration to them, so you want to take down that base in the time allotted to you with those 3 heal spells. So unfortunately, it kind of turns into a one-finger drop here. We see that a Tesla pops out of each of those openings, so we know that there's probably going to be a giant bomb down here by this mortar. He goes ahead and covers that in the heal spell, but note that his hogs never track across where that giant bomb location would be. So it's going to be a very bad possible giant bomb location. The hogs are going to trip it at the very end here, but by then it's too late. We're already in cleanup mode. So this base had pretty much everything possible going for it. You see that it's a very symmetrical design. The CC was an easy lure. The giant bomb was in a bad location. So these are things you're looking to exploit when you're looking for a base and deciding whether or not hogs is the right attack style. Just up the way here, we're going to take a look at Brando's attack here on number 12. Same thing. Now notice how easy this defender has made it on Brando. There are literally 0 spots inside the walls where giant bombs or Teslas or spring traps could be located, but that's where all the defensive structures are, with the exception of the sweeper down here and this air defense. But once my hogs get inside of those walls, there is 0 chance that they're going to track across any kind of giant bombs or any spring traps at all. So I know that they're completely safe from traps. The defender has also made it really simple because the wall design isn't confusing to the eye at all. It's really easy to break down where everything's at, to see where all the defenses are located. He's very conveniently placed the elixir collectors on one side and the gold storage is on the other, or gold collectors on the other. So that just kind of makes it like a picture frame on the outside, and everything inside is the picture, and it's really easy to understand what's inside the picture. When you're designing a base, you actually want to confuse the eye of the guy who's looking at attacking that base. So mix up your buildings on the outside. Make your wall pattern a little bit confusing. Try to trick his eye as much as possible. Make it hard for him to understand where the hogs will path, and leave some open spaces inside the base, not just the bare minimum for your Teslas and giant bombs, but have some locations that trick him and where he thinks that could be possible locations but are just decoy dummy locations. We're going to take a look at a base that has that in this next attack after this. But the other thing that he does is not only that, but he has a very easy lure clan castle, and he's conveniently given corner buildings as anchor buildings so that we can do the CC kill in all four corners. Now, when there are corner buildings like that, one thing that you want to do is try to save a couple archers to the end, and you can use those archers to place one archer on each of those corner buildings and save yourself a whole lot of time and effort. So let's see how Brando takes down this base. He uses one hog to go in and go ahead and get the lure. He's going to lure those troops away to the corner. Down here at the bottom, he puts a single archer. He's got two poison spells. I wouldn't recommend using both poison spells for a single clan castle kill, but in this case he does. What you want to do is drop the poison spell and then use that poison spell. Now, he has a level 3 poison spell. I promise you that level 3 poison spell by itself will do enough damage to kill that Valkyrie and that baby dragon. Just sprinkle in enough archers so if that baby dragon and Valkyrie start straying to one side or other of the poison spell, drop a couple of archers on the other side to pull it back towards the center of the poison and keep it in the poison all the time. So he kind of does that. He drops his archers here on the heart of the base, the center, to bring them back to center here. They're going to stay in that poison. A double poison doesn't do double damage, but what it does do is it does do double slow, and it accelerates the rate at which the poison takes effect. So he drops his king down here to tank for his surviving troops. He's got his king tanking, and he's going to go ahead and do this one finger drop here. In this case, he's dropping on the same location that he got the lure, so he knows that that entry point is safe, and he also knows that there is absolutely no giant bombs and no spring traps in here. So this is one time that a one finger drop type deployment is probably acceptable. Drops the rest of his hogs here on the back side. He's got a huge pack traveling together. They're just going to go in a counterclockwise motion around this base. He's got his king tanking for the defenses here on the bottom, and then he's got his cleanup troops go ahead and work in here. So what he would really want to do is go ahead and drop some more cleanup troops if he had them up on the back side there where his hogs have already cleared at this point. But the story of this raid is Brando did a great job of selecting the proper base for a hog attack. We could see that this base, there couldn't be a base that was better designed to be taken down by hogs, and he's got about 1.7 million hogs left at the end here, just rampaging everywhere. There's absolutely no chance that this base was ever going to survive a hog attack. Brando did a great job of breaking this down, knowing that this would be the proper base to take down with hogs. He's got his king up at the end. He's got hogs rampaging everywhere. I think they multiplied during the course of the raid. He's got more than he started with somehow. So let's go ahead and take a look at a base that is designed to defeat hogs and how you can still take it down anyways. Ryan's going to attack number 7 here. And this base is very difficult. Notice that there are a huge number of locations where there could not just be single giant bombs or single Teslas, but actually could be side by side or what we call double giant bombs. in these locations. In between this archer tower and mortar, this is a 2x4 opening here, and that's what you need to put two side-by-side giant bombs. And if your hogs were to track directly from this archer tower to the mortar, they would go in between those giant bombs, triggering them both at the same time. Even more deadly is you have the same setup here moving into a wizard tower. Now, a wizard tower is going to do damage to the entire pack, and coupling that with two giant bombs going off at the same time potentially will kill every single hog in that entire pack simultaneously. Same thing here. So not only are there multiple locations, Ryan can't potentially guess where the giant bombs are going to be, but there are several locations where if there were two side by side, or what we call double giant bomb locations, that it would be catastrophic to his hogs. So in this case, he's going to defeat this base by bringing along a golem. Now, one other thing to note about this base is it has an unlurable clan castle. There's nowhere that he can drop a single troop or a small number of troops and lure out those CC troops. So because of that, he's going to drop a golem and some wall breakers, and that golem and wall breakers are going to go in and they're going to come in here from the bottom right. First, they're going to cross this open space. Now, we've talked about what makes a good location for giant bombs and bad. So this is probably not a giant bomb location, but it could be a Tesla location. And he really wants to get that golem and or his king or some kind of troops other than his hogs into this sequence of buildings here to see if they can pre-trigger any of the giant bombs that probably are in there. So those are the best locations, and when you're trying to do the analysis, you need to think like the base designer. Where would be the best place for those giant bombs? And the best place for those giant bombs would be in between two defenses, particularly if I can put a wizard tower on one side, or if I can couple that with the bomb tower in some way. So that's another defense that I can use to create a double giant bomb set that's extremely effective, because of the splash damage caused by the bombs the bomb tower throws, and then additionally by the nearly giant bomb sized bomb that goes off when the bomb tower explodes. So let's go ahead and see how Ryan actually attacks this base and how he makes it work, even though this is probably one of the hardest bases that a Town Hall hog attacker will ever face, with an unlurable clan castle and also having to deal with so many potential giant bomb locations, and some of which that are particularly effective against his troops. So the golem takes the damage from the clan castle troops. He's got wizards coming in behind. They make short work under poison of that clan castle troops there, particularly that dragon. The king's going to go ahead and come in. And watch this king rage up and go ahead and clear one giant bomb, two giant bombs. So now Ryan knows that the 2 out of the 3 giant bombs are taken care of. He only has one more giant bomb to worry about, and because the wizards took care of this defensive structure here, his hogs go directly to the wizard tower, and they're going to skirt off to the edge there and pretty much miss that location. So now all 3 giant bombs have been exploded. He uses poison spell to take care of the skeletons that are chasing his hogs around, and he's still got another heal spell to use for the end here. He's going to very patiently wait, drop it. He doesn't have to worry about there being a giant bomb in that location. Now, we did see a spring trap go off there, and that spring trap was placed in between defenses, which is a good place for spring traps, but because it was placed in a location where there was 2 spaces, the hogs hit it at a dead run, and they pathed over it too quickly to be overly effective. So spring traps, yes, place them in between defensive structures, but you need to place them so that the hogs will stop on them. So the best place is where there's only one space in between defensive structures. When there's 2 spaces, then you can go ahead and actually miss that. The hogs can path over it so quickly that it's ineffective. So he's kind of the beneficiary there. His hogs all end up down on this archer tower. A little troll Tesla out in the corner pops up, and he's got plenty of hogs left over to go ahead and get this cleanup going on. Hogs are your best cleanup. They jump over walls, they do extremely high amounts of damage, and by the time it's time for them to clean up, they've already cleared all of the traps and bombs out of the base. So how many cleanup troops should you bring? Not too many. You can count on hogs for the most part to be your best cleanup troops, but you do potentially want to have a couple. Remember Nerfed in the beginning, that first raid we looked at, he went ahead and dropped some cleanup troops behind his hogs. In this case, Ryan's cleanup troops were the wizards that he sent in the beginning, and they were very effective. They did a lot of good work for him in the beginning, and particularly in taking out the locations where those giant bombs could be. Excellent raid. This is called a Go-Ho raid, combining that golem and hogs. These are the kind of attacks that led to us really overpowering this clan. This clan was on a 9-war win streak, and we absolutely just annihilated them. The first story was that we just crushed all of their bases, but even more important, guys, and this is time for another video. I got into a couple things here, but really the most important thing that you can do for your clan is do you have a very tough base? And look at this. They were not able to 3-star very many of our bases. We had a ton of bases left over that just absolutely left them puzzled and befuddled. Some of these were dip attacks. Some of these were hit by much higher and more powerful people, but it should never look like this, where all of Regna's a Town Hall 7, and they were not able to 3-star that base. So we're doing a lot of things right here. Hog attacks on offense are going really well. On defense, we are absolutely just stunning these people, and it's really helping us out. This is what's leading to our success lately, and we need to keep up the good work, helping constantly teaching people base design and base building techniques. Keep working on those asymmetrical war bases, and keep working on those hog attacks. They're really the hallmark of what's propelling us to this success. Not every base is ideal for hog attacks, but you can see that almost every base can be hogged with the right techniques. So keep working on it, keep practicing, keep helping each other out with those friendly challenges. If you log on, just throw your base out there as a friendly challenge. Not only will they get practice attacking on that base with no cost of troops, but you'll actually get to see somebody live attack. How do they try to exploit the weaknesses in your base? Where are attackers likely to come from? Are your traps actually in effective locations? Friendly challenges give you all kinds of information. So please, every time you log on, just make a habit of coming on and putting your base out for friendly challenges. Ask for people for feedback afterwards. What was easy about it? What did they notice that caused them to attack from that direction? So offense and defense, this is what we need to keep teaching. Just, blocking and tackling. That's what it's all about. Great job, guys. Thank you very much. I'm really proud of you guys. Keep up the good work.